Hi everyone, thank you for tuning into episode 4 of the recorded series, Your Next Stop Partnership. My name's Luke Thompson. I'm a director at Introlegal, a boutique legal recruitment agency based out of Cambridge Square. And I'm delighted today to say that I'm joined by Tulin Hamit, who is a partner at Collyer Bristow. Tulin, thank you for joining us. If you'd like to introduce yourself more formally, that would be great. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I am Tulin Hamit. I'm a partner at Collyer Bristow, and my department is tax and the private client department.
I was delighted to have you on here because I've followed you and your progress today in your career, and I think it's fair to say that you are probably the go-to lawyer in the UK for Turkish clients. One of the reasons why I wanted you on this series is that the whole point of these discussions is to help aspiring and junior lawyers to attain partnership and obviously grow a client following. So we'll come on to that. But firstly, would you be able to share with us all your worst and best memory of when you were a trainee, if you remember that far back?
Yes, exactly. Hopefully people say that I don't look that old.
That came out wrong.
Yeah. And also the people will like to hear that actually I did 3 trainee programs rather than 1. So I was a trainee in Turkey, I was a trainee in London, and also I did my chartered tax advisor trainee as well. So I spent most of my time as a trainee rather than be a lawyer, maybe. I think the worst bit is that when the partner tells you that you need to do this and as a deadline and you completely forget about it.
Yeah. So you can you'll be able to sympathise with those junior lawyers then who forget tasks for you.
Yes, exactly, because I totally understand that, because they are not just dealing with you as a partner, they are dealing with the lots of partners, and everybody says something. And then it's really, really easy to forget about it. And sometimes you think that you have written it down, or sometimes you didn't. It's just mistakes, and everybody can do that.
Yeah.
And I think the best bit as a trainee, nobody blames you for anything. If anything goes wrong, it's not your fault, it is the partner's fault. And in that sense, you are open to learning more and trying more aggressive ideas and more imaginative, because you know that whatever you write it down, somebody will take the responsibility.
Yeah. I think that's important. I'm pleased you've said that, because a lot of the partners I've spoken to, obviously, as you know, I was a partner myself, I think it's important when you get to partnership that you have empathy towards trainees, and always remember that you were once in their shoes, and to remember that. And I think it often helps people as they move into the partnership stage of their career.
Yeah, especially everybody was there. You can't be a partner in a law firm without being a trainee at some point.
Yeah.
And and as a trainee, they change the seat every 6 months, so you can't expect them to know even the beginner stuff. You need to teach them.
Yeah.
And also you need to inspire them a little bit, even though they don't want to qualify in your department. As a lawyer, as a partner, you need to teach them habits of being a good lawyer rather than the law, because everybody will open the books or look at online now and find the answer, but you need to teach them how the good lawyers looks like, and how they talk and how they behave and how they communicate with the client.
So Tulin, of many of the partners I've worked with, and obviously we've worked together, I was amazed actually by the client following that you've amassed during your career, and I think it's highly commendable actually. And as I said, I go back to my point at the beginning of the video that you obviously managed to carve out this position as being the go-to lawyer for Turkish nationals who happen to be living in the UK. I mean, how does one do that? How have you managed to create such a huge following?
First of all, you need to know your strengths and your and the areas that you don't have the strength. So I came here when I was 27. And I still speak with the huge English accent. I always said that I'm not native. I will never speak English as good as any native English speakers are doing. It's like my child. Sometimes he's 5 years old and he said, "Mommy, your pronunciation is wrong." This will always continue, and I can't change it. So I said, okay, if I have this problem, and unfortunately I have to live with that, I can't change it, then I need to carve out my place to myself, being in the city, being a city lawyer, and also use my strength. And my strength is that I'm a Turkish lawyer at the same time, and I'm a native Turkish speaker. And I just look at the Turkish market, and tax area was neglected heavily in the Turkish market, and the Turkish lawyers were mainly dealing with the high street law matters, and there wasn't so much city lawyers providing the city advice. So I started dealing with that point, and I did my all tax qualifications. So I became a CTA, TEP, and then I started doing business development. So I traveled to Turkey a lot, and also all the other countries, the Turkish people have good connections. And I spoke with the clients face to face. I spoke with the referrals. I held lots of events, lots of meetings. But the best thing, the client and the referral understood that I care about their work, I care about their matters, and I am trying my best. Sometimes you can't have the client because the mistake is there and you can't unamend it. But most of the time they know that I try my best. And then the client stays with you. They know that you understand them. They know that you are trying your best to help them, even though the result is not the one that they want. They always stay with you and they trust you.
Yeah. And I think it helps as well. You're a very likable person. I think most people who work with you enjoy working with you. But I think that's important. I think that, certainly in your area of work, similarly to when I was in family law, in private client, you need to be very empathetic. You've got to be understanding. You're dealing with, again, very emotional, a very emotional area of law. And then you've got the other added element to it, which is the tax element, which is obviously very complicated. So yeah, it's a real mix. So you need a lot of skills, I think, for private clients to be a successful private client lawyer. So I commend you for that. So Tulin, in terms of business development, what does the business development mean to you?
My business development approach might not work for everybody, but I'm quite a different person because law is my life.
Yeah.
So I see the business development opportunities everywhere, not just having a drink in the work or going to another, accountancy firm and doing a seminar there. They are the one that everybody does. But I generally do business development. Let's say I have Saturday morning breakfast with my clients. I go to the theater with them. They call me and they ask me the best restaurant. I choose them a best restaurant. I share them with my personal circumstance, like I had a child. Everybody knows my child's name. Everybody knows that my child is quite naughty. So I try to get involved with my client's life, and I generally try to understand what they are doing from the beginning. So when the client comes, let's say immigration matter, I don't just ask them, okay, what is your immigration problem is. I generally try to understand their work, their business, their family life, their plans for the future. So the clients actually, I work like a family officer and deal with every problems that he or she might face now or in the future. And then I bring the matters to our firms and I then distribute to our specialist partners.
But that's interesting because I think that if we look back at how law has evolved, I think that's very much how lawyers used to operate. They would they'd be very much involved in the community. They would know all of their clients, as you say, by name. They would know more about them personally. I think that's very interesting. Actually, that's not for everyone. I don't think everyone would want to
exactly
that. But it just goes to show that it's obviously worked for you and it's continuing to work for you.
And also I am quite a friendly person and I like speaking with the people and getting involved with them. So when they call me Saturday night saying they are close to my house and they are having a drink in the pub, I don't get offended that they call me Saturday night. I just go there.
Right.
I learned not to give advice when I am drinking. Or when they call me, early morning or late night, I know that they have to call me because I suppose something is bothering them. So I just answered the phone. Actually, I don't think a second saying that why they are calling me late, and I just pick up the phone.
Yeah. Again, also very commendable. And so, Tulin, obviously, you've touched upon coming over here when you were 27 as an international student. I mean, did you face what challenges did you face at that time? I mean, because only last year you were ranked in Legal 500 as a rising star. I mean, that in itself is a massive achievement for any lawyer, certainly within a ranked firm. But to have done that, having had those challenges coming here at 27, I mean, yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, how did you overcome any challenges?
I mean, I received lots of challenges because trying to explain yourself to people that you are worthwhile and they can invest in you, it wasn't easy. So what I did, rather than coming to the top, I realized that I need to start from the bottom. So I started from the bottom, and then I made myself a career list. I said, okay, if I want to become an international tax lawyer, which I was in Turkey, I need to do some qualifications. Okay, I was doing training programs, and I did lots of exams. I did lots of diploma program, and then I see that I am not fitting into that law firm anymore because I am increasing in experience and the client base. Then I changed my firm to another firm. It was my second firm. And then I became too big for that firm. But everything rolled around me bringing more clients in. The more clients I brought in, and the more experience I hit in the area, then the people started getting interested in me. And they said, do you know what? We knew that girl 10 years ago, and then we didn't pay attention to her, but actually she's doing that. And then they started suddenly become interested. And then I played my card rights, and I chose the best law firm.
Well, it's funny you should say that. So obviously you're a partner at Collyer Bristow now. And how has becoming a partner changed working life for you? How has it changed when you were a senior associate?
I mean, I was always the one who brought clients to the firm, but I was more relaxed when I was a senior associate. If I didn't get any work for 2 weeks, I wasn't that worried because I had my matters which was coming from the firm, and I was billing. I was all right. I was saying that if I get clients additionally, that's my bonus. But as a partner now, every day you need to think about am I going to get that instruction? Am I going to provide enough work to my juniors?
Yeah.
And also all the liability lies with you. You need to make sure that any advice goes out of the door, which includes your signature, needs to be 100% correct. So in that sense,
it's a stops with you, essentially.
Yes, exactly. With this, a senior associate, you write the letter, and if your partner says, "Well done, Tulin, it was perfect," you said, "Oh, that's fine. Now she's responsible."
Yeah.
But now if the same principle applies to me, and most of my juniors are brilliant, and when they give me a letter or a memorandum, I say, "Brilliant, it's perfect." And then I put my signature, then everything changed. Then I'm the one who can't sleep.
And how have you found being a partner in terms of your client base? I mean, have you seen that grow as a result of having a partnership title, or partner title rather?
Definitely. Because I work with the Turkish and the Middle East clients. The title is quite important. And also the people trust you more because the people that I work generally high net worth and ultra high net worth client. And when they see the associate or senior associate title, they say, "Oh, you still have a way to go." But when they see the partner, they understand you are top of your game. You know most of the things that you need to know, and you are going to be responsible.
Yeah.
And also they know that you have some say in the firm. So it actually increased my client base.
That's interesting. And from a day-to-day perspective, I mean, what is one of the biggest challenges of being a private client lawyer, would you say?
Law changed a lot. And also is if let's say you drafted a will or trusted, you never understand that there is a mistake unless 30 years passes, because for will to be valid, somebody has to pass away. And when somebody passed away, then they understand that maybe there is some ambiguity in the trust. So you are always on hold. And you can't say that, okay, I have done it, the deal has finished, and now I am off the hook. As a private client lawyer, you will never be off the hook. Because especially the tax bit, private client tax bit change quite regular basis.
Yeah.
And it's quite interesting. So the structures, let's say, were done for IHT purposes 30 years ago, and they just started being attacked by HMRC, and now law change. For the 5 years, we have been actually amending the all the advice we're giving to the clients 30 years, 20 years, 10 years ago. So the law changed quite rapidly, and you need to follow up. And it becomes more complicated because now is the transparency and the tax evasion and tax avoidance rules are getting tighter and tighter every day. Now our area changed significantly. And TEP is not just elderly people you are dealing with it. I deal with the loss of young generation who are actually getting the inheritance from their parents or their grandparents. And they are getting us to give them advice on how they are going to use that inheritance for their children and the grandchildren. And also, my specialty is a little bit international tax law, is the separate from the private client. And I also give advice on the corporation tax. Part of the international companies. So I'm finding it quite exciting, as well as being quite stressful.
And what would you say the most attractive thing about working at Collyer Bristow is for those people watching this, for aspiring lawyers?
First of all, they are really, I think 3 things we can say about Collyer Bristow. All partners are quite approachable. And so it's really easy to communicate with them, ask them, and they are quite understandable. Secondly, they are really good at what they do. They are really knowledgeable and the top of their games. Third things I will say, they are really business-like people. So they are not the people, some partners, they just close their doors and they just do the work and they don't communicate with us so well. Our partners are not like that. They are really into the business developments, and they are always out and about. And we do lots of nice and the funny seminars. Is not the boring ones.
I have to say, from my experience as a legal recruiter, my experience at Collyer Bristow has always been a very commercially aware firm. I mean, very commercially aware, which I think is a real attractive aspect to the firm. For people coming through. And
also we support our juniors so much because we want them to do well.
Yes.
And we always take them to the client meetings. They always introduce to the client. Clients call them directly. We have no problem whatsoever with that. We always encourage them to speak at our seminars, and we do lots of business development activities.
And Tulin, for, again, younger lawyers watching this, I mean, what tips do you have for people entering into law, particularly if they want to focus on private client work?
They can't run away from tax if they want to become a private client lawyer. In my experience, I will just say it will not work. I mean, if you want to be a lawyer, the client will come tell you these are my wishes, and you are just going to type it. You are just a will drafter. You need to be able to advise the clients, and in order to advise the clients, you need to know your tax. So if you don't like tax, don't become TEP solicitors, I will say. And STEP is a good exam. I will always recommend everybody to do STEP exams and become a member. And you need to like reading, because we do lots of law changes are coming up. There are lots of case laws are involving. So it's quite an active area. So you need to be able to read your magazines, legal magazines on a regular basis. You need to be aware. It's not another, I don't know whether any other area of law which are quite stable. But I think it's the tax law change every year, basically by the budget. But then also there are lots of case laws are involved, and you need to be aware of that.
It's interesting you say about the tax element. I mean, how much has your caseload and client referrers increased as a result of having the tax arm to what you do? Have you seen an increase?
100%.
Interesting.
I mean, the clients, they don't come to me because they want will. They come to me because I provide them an inheritance tax advice. Then they do will with me. Then they do trust with me because if I advise them, it might be tax beneficial, and then they do, or they choose not to. I think it's my main drive in my practice is tax. I provide pure tax advice, and then those tax advice result in some drafting.
Right. Okay. No, that's. I think that will be a really, really good tip for those people watching this. And Tulin, look, I'd like to thank you again for taking part in this.
You're welcome. It's nice to see you.
Yeah, and you. I think the knowledge you've imparted would be very, very helpful to people. I wish you well on the future of your career at Collyer Bristow. I think you're certainly someone to watch for the future, and I think anyone who's interested in private client law and tax should certainly keep a close eye on your career, because as I said, I think we've seen how far you've come to this point. I'm really excited to see where you get to next, and I think you've got some exciting things coming your way. So Tulin, thank you so much.
You're welcome.